Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time again. It's Rimshots with Sean right here in the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk and Mapex Drums. I have to keep getting that in there. Brand new sponsor. I have with me Atara Glazer from very cool band, Plastic Rhino. I believe you're on the West Coast, the best coast, correct?
Yeah, I don't know about that right now, but yeah, usually the best coast.
So you're in Los Angeles, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So give us a little update. Everything that is being portrayed in the media, is that actually happening? Have you seen a lot of that?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's happening. It was all happening downtown, which is a very small part of Los Angeles.
Yep.
So the rest of LA is pretty much living a normal life as it's going on downtown, but downtown is a war zone right now. Absolutely.
So would you depict it as protests?
Yes.
I've talked to some people and they said they're not noticing anything, but I'm guessing they're on the outskirts. Nowhere near what you would have seen in the '90s, correct?
No, it's nothing like what happened during COVID or after in '93. It's not anywhere near that right now.
Right on.
So hopefully it doesn't get that bad.
And I don't, I don't like to get political or do anything like that. I like people to kind of not necessarily buy into everything the media feeds them, right? So that's why I was asking. I want to make sure that, hey, you're there, I'm
Yeah.
not, and
Yeah.
let's get a good depiction. So, Miss Atara, tell us about Plastic Rhino.
We're an alternative rock duo from Los Angeles. We've been around for a while, and we keep taking breaks and then coming back together as a band and making new music. So
Is
it
that
keeps
like
happening with us.
hopefully you'll get the rest. Is that like the Friends Ross and Rachel take a break? Is that
Yeah,
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 okay. So
literally.
tell me a little bit about that. Is that kind of by design to well, okay, so yourself and who's the other member of the outfit?
My partner, who is Jack Glazer.
Okay. And so you and Jack just decide you want to do some other things just kind of for that creative itch type thing and you go off and do is that how it pretty much works?
Yeah. We're both in a lot of projects, and we sometimes will get really busy with other stuff. So it's kind of Plastic Rhino falls to the wayside a little bit, and then we just start writing music again, and it comes back. So right now we're back.
Well, you're back. Well, hey, welcome back. Good to have you
Thank
back.
you.
And
Thank you.
it's interesting you can do that because I mean, I talk to all kinds of different acts, all kinds of different people, and everything seems to hover between, oh my God, I got to get a band. Like they can't find an act and they want to be creative. And then sort of your situation where, you know what, we got a bunch of things on the go. What else do you do when you're not doing this band?
I do a lot of solo work and like sync placement work, and then I was in the film industry, but the film industry is pretty dead right now.
Uh-huh.
So not a lot going on in my life. Jack is very busy with multiple bands right now, so he's pretty busy. My primary focus right now is Plastic Rhino. Absolutely.
And when you say the because I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm in East
Mhm.
Coast of Canada, and we had 7 years ago our provincial leader cut the film industry. Basically, there was tax credits and stuff that would incent people to bring productions here. He cut them, so it decimated the industry, and now it's come back. Um,
Mhm.
there's all kinds of stuff on the go. There's lots of productions taking place. When you say it's kind of slowed down or not much is happening, is that just a cycle, or why do you think that is?
Because there's was this over the years it's been happening, and I think now it's finally like caught up with itself. But yeah, all the productions were leaving to go to shoot other places because the tax incentives were just better than Los Angeles.
Right.
Even though this is like the hub, and we have the biggest sound stages, and LA is set up for the film industry. It's just other places had better incentives. So yeah, there's just been this over the years a slow exodus of productions leaving, and after the last strike, it just really messed everything up. So right now, this is the slowest it's ever been in Los Angeles.
Well, that's too bad to hear because, like I say, you know, LA is one of those towns that I grew up listening and loving. Most of what I mean, I was a huge Kiss fan, as you can tell, which is obviously New York. But for the most part, everything that I loved and listened to was out of LA. They were, if they every very few people are actually from LA, but they wind up there. But there's a West Coast vibe. I think you would agree with me. Are you born and
Absolutely.
bred from there?
Yes. Yes, I am. And so is Jack.
So you know what I'm talking about then. There's kind of a
Absolutely.
vibe, right? Like
Yeah.
it's one part laid back, one part kind of go for it, and there's a whole bunch of different things. Um, do you, I mean, is there cause for concern that this is going to be the trend for some time to come, or do you think it's going to bounce back?
I think it'll come back. I know right now there's a lot of movement going on with our local government to get the tax credits funding back here to the state where the incentive is enough to pull people back. So I'm hoping in a year or two things will get back to normal. I really am, because this whole city relies on the film industry, and without it, I don't even know what's going to happen to the city. So
Well,
LA is going through an interesting time right now.
yeah, but you know, LA's one of those towns that always seems to bounce back, right? It all like
It
bad
does.
stuff happens, but then, I mean, if it in my lifetime, I mean, people were ready to write it off probably 5 times, and it just always seemed to bounce back, right? And one of the things about Canada that, you know, let's call it what it is. I mean, you guys can come up here with US dollars and make productions for a lot less money because I
Yeah.
mean, our dollar is so terrible. I think it's 70 cents on the dollar is pretty much where we're at, right? So, yeah, I mean, you know, that has to right itself too. So, hopefully that will happen. Um, I don't like to do this, but I do because when I'm trying to attract an audience or my audience to a new artist,
Hmm.
I always say, okay, if you were to give me a comparable of who you may sound, you said you're an alternative rock band, who might Plastic Rhino sound like?
Um, oh, so that question always throws me, because we get so many different answers from so many different people of what they think we sound like. And like recently we were like in this moment and I was like, okay, I don't see that, but sure, if that's what you're getting, if that's the vibe, great. Normally we get kind of compared to Hailstorm. Um, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one that we normally get compared to. Sometimes I guess a little Evanescence, but mostly
Yeah.
Hailstorm.
And I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just kind
Yeah.
of a, if somebody likes that particular genre or style, it's to get them to, you know, to zone in.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding now people are actually taking the time to go and find new stuff. Like,
Yes.
there was this really weird, I'll call it the last year and a half, where everything was like, ugh, like everything was not great. You know what I mean? Now people are going and they're investigating new things and trying to find new music. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's actually a really nice, like, for once in this like harder alternative rock sound, a lot of female presence, which has been
Yeah.
really nice to see, because before that was like pretty much non-existent. So it's actually we're getting a lot more of a male female ratio in our
Yeah.
listeners, where it used to be just mostly male. So it's the the sound people are listening to is changing, which is great.
Good music is good music. But I mean, the
Yes.
one thing with streaming that I find, and I use this example of one of my, I've got it back here. One of my favorite albums of all time is Blackout by the Scorpions,
Okay.
and I like some songs on the second side that had I heard it in this day and age, I probably never would have discovered because I would have been going for the hits.
Hmm.
And that's unfortunately to me a downfall of this whole, well, that and the fact that nobody gets paid, but um, you know, it doesn't. Music right now is set up to kind of have people not think for themselves. That's the only way I can describe it. Would you agree with that?
Yes. There is definitely like this mechanical sound that's kind of every band tries to emulate it, because that's what's like on the radio, or
Right.
those are the bands that are big, so everyone's trying to sound like them, and there isn't like too much authenticity anymore. So it's nice when you come across like an authentic band. And
Well,
we always try to be as authentic as possible, and that's why I can never compare ours to other bands, because I feel like we don't really, we take from a lot of different bands and ideas and sounds and stuff, but we never are like trying to copy a band. We're just trying to put out music that we like to make.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm a drummer. I record with my girlfriend. I record tracks. I do all that stuff, and I can tell, you know, you can tell when people are pro tooling it up, right? And especially with drums because it just sounds a little bit too perfect. Like there's not
Yeah,
that
yeah,
human wobble that you know, and I'm guilty of it. I mean, a couple times I'll go in and I've gone in and done some things where I had a great take, except for one tiny little thing. Just move it around. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
easy to do, right?
yeah.
Um, Further to that, so I don't know if you know who James Michael is, but James Michael is the singer for 6 a.m. with Nikki Sixx, and he had a great thing. It was a spoken word podcast he put out last week, and it was "Why I No Longer Love Music." And it was basically what he was saying in a nutshell was people are writing to algorithms or writing for people that don't even care. It's not creative. You know, people don't give you know what about talent about anything. It's all about the algorithm. It's all about becoming famous. It's all about that.
Hmm.
What would you say to that?
I mean, I agree. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of bands out there that are doing that, and the AI stuff is pretty messed up because um, it just generates like the popular sounds, and then those are the songs that are people are using that as a tool to gain popularity. There's no creativity in that. There's no songwriting skills in that. There's no talent in that. It literally anyone can make it using that tool. So it does suck because I feel like everyone does want a shortcut to the top, and there is no shortcut, and you just have to work really hard, and you have to suck until you don't suck, and you have to write terrible lyrics until you finally get some good lyrics. Like you can't really use AI to do everything for you, and unfortunately that's the world we're living in right now.
What a great line that you just said. You have to suck until you don't suck because I think what I see now is we're devoid of dues paying. We're devoid of experiences.
Yeah.
We're devoid of anything that actually makes music real, right? That's just my humble 2 cents. But everybody's looking for the next Taylor Swift or the next whoever, and you know, unfortunately, they're missing an awful lot of cool stuff. I mean, record executives right now, and I would sit down, I would challenge any single one of them. I don't think they really have a sweet clue what they're
No,
doing,
no, they don't.
right? It's
They
just
don't.
never it's never been as bad as it is now in terms of decisions being made around the boardroom table as opposed to going out and seeing people shed the wood and whatnot, right? So
Yeah.
we're on the same page there. So what's your process in terms of how, you know, you're a duo? Um, what's your process? Do you guys take the show live? Do you get out there and do some shows? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll hire our friends to come play with us, our hired guns. And then as far as the songwriting goes, it's usually starts with me, and I sing into my phone guitar licks and drum beats, and
nice.
my Jack and my producer absolutely love that. Not really, but and then they kind of Jack starts working on guitar stuff, and then we take it to our producer and make a song. And it's either like the song's great or nope, start from scratch. Let's go again. So
So
that's our process.
if I may, Brian shared some stuff with me here, and I'm just dialing it up on my phone here, so forgive me for being a little fumbly, but here we are. So Take It All is
Mm-hmm.
the newest single.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. For certain, the EPK is great. I can tell you guys spent some time on that because a lot of bands are lacking in that area, right? Um, it's important. It's
Yeah.
really now more than ever. That's your first kind of shot, right? So tell me a little bit about the single.
So this song is actually I came up with this idea like last year. Um, it just like popped in my head, and in my head it was like this Muse vibe, guitar sound. But I wanted to sing low, which I don't usually like sing that low, and I wanted to jump up an octave on the chorus, and I wanted a lot of words. So I wanted it to not quite be like a rap, but like just like a lot of singing, a lot of words, and a fast BPM. So I
You
came
want
up
to
with all
punish
that.
yourself vocally, is what you're telling me.
I love to punish myself vocally live. Like all our songs, every time I sing them live, I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, but recording wise, you're like, woohoo, it's so much fun. Um, so yeah, but live is a whole different story. And then yeah, so then I did a bunch of different recordings on my phone, all kinds of different ideas, and I like it has to simmer. Like it sits on my phone, and then like a new idea will come, and I'll record that, and then I'll go back to the old idea, and it like takes a while before the like song idea actually comes to fruition, like what exactly it's going to be. And then one day all of a sudden my brain just clicks and I'm like, oh, there it is. And then when I have that, that's when I send it to Jack and I'm like, okay, put some guitars down and some basic drums. What do you hear? And he'll do that. And then we go to our producers, um, Tom, Tom Chandler, and he was the one that came up with all the EDM stuff, which was awesome. And the dubstep drop at the end, he's like, I want to go there. And I was like, cool, I'm
Sure.
down. Let's do it. And it worked out.
Well, my, uh, it's great that you say that because a lot of people that well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but some people I've worked with over the last little bit, that spirit of collaboration isn't necessarily there. And I think that sometimes great things can happen if you have an open mind to collaboration with people, talented people, right?
Yes.
So good that you're doing that. Goals for the single. I mean, what's success look like to you as far as the single goes? Like some
Um,
people say, "Hey, I got it out. That's success." What success look like to you?
just keep like it's doing really well. We're getting on a lot of stations. Just keep building the hype around it and get on some bigger stations. Maybe some Sirius XM play. And
Those guys are buggers, man. They're
I
tough.
know, I know.
Have you
We
tried?
got we
So
got
are the boys trying to get you in there?
I would hope so.
Yeah. Um, I I have some stories about those guys. It's actually funny because up here in Canada, it's a little bit different in that you have to. We've got these. They call them CanCon, so you have to submit a different way.
Ah,
And I actually had one of the program directors send me an email saying, "We got your info. Stop sending." And it's like, well, just respond and tell me. That's all you need to do, right? So if I'm giving anybody a tip, keep sending it until you get one of those emails because you don't you just have no idea whether or not it gets on there, right? So,
yeah.
um, last question, Atara. A great name, by the way.
Thank you.
What's the background on that?
It's Hebrew.
Very cool. Very cool. Where do I send my folks to find out more about you guys and Plastic Rhino and what you're up to?
We're on Instagram is like probably our best social media platform where we post the most. Plastic Rhino Band. We're on Facebook, Plastic Rhino. We're on TikTok, Plastic Rhino Band. We're streaming on every possible music streaming site that is out there. Obviously, Spotify and Apple and Amazon are the big ones, but
Yep.
we're on everything. We have a YouTube page, Plastic Rhino Band. We have a Vivo page. If you literally just type in Plastic Rhino, we do come up now on the Google search, pretty up there. So it's a lot out
Fantastic.
there about us, which is great. Yeah.
Look, I want to thank you for doing this. I always like interviewing curtain call artists because every single one brings a little bit something different to the table. They're all great. I mean, for me, teaming up with these guys has been great because it's music I may have overlooked or not heard of. Love what you guys are doing. I mean, Brian,
Thank you.
he sent me the info. Um, I think Hailstorm right on in terms of the comparable. Great what you guys are doing. Keep it up, and any way I can support you, hit me up.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us.
And we're back after this.